Today, I'm going to teach you how to zen out your puppy's crating area, so stay tuned. Crate training your puppy or your new dog is a fantastic management tool, but you want to make sure that you're doing it safely and appropriately. You also want to make sure that your puppy is going to enjoy his area. When I think about crate training and setting up your puppy's crating area, I always think about making it as comfortable and cozy as possible, because ideally your puppy or your dog is going to be sleeping in his crate. It's not a time for him to be hanging out and bopping around. I want your puppy or your dog to be sleeping when he's in his crate. Not excited and waiting to come out and waiting for you to come home, but napping. It's his napping area. But first, we want to figure out what's going to be the best crate for your puppy or your dog. That's a pretty individual choice, and a choice that's actually determined by your dog as well. I remember when Dexter was a puppy, I had all kinds of different crates for him. I had a crate in my bedroom, I had a crate in the living room, I had a crate at the training center, I had a crate that I took when we traveled, and I quickly learned that the soft crates were not a good idea for Dexter puppy. They might be an okay idea for your adult dog, but probably not a puppy. He quickly chewed the side of the crate so that it defeated the purpose at keeping him safely confined. Wire crates too can pose a risk. If your dog is uncomfortable in the crate, he might chew the wire or he might paw the wire. If he's really stressed, I've actually known dogs that stick their head through the door. So when you have the door in the side of the crate, they pushed it so much that their head got in there. When Dexter was a puppy, the crate that was in our living room that was totally supervised was a bit large for him. And one time when he went to come out of it, his back foot kind of got caught on the edge, but luckily he was able to quickly manipulate it and get it out of the way, plus we were there supervising. So you really want to look at the crate and your puppy and try to find the safest one possible. There's also wood crates. We have plastic travel type crates too. The travel type crates that are the plastic sides can be a little stuffy, so you want to really think about airflow for your dog. So you want to make sure that if that's a crate that you're going to choose for your dog, that it's not butted up against the wall, that it's out from the back and out from the side to make sure that there's plenty of airflow. You might even consider putting a fan on the outside of the crate, kind of blowing in. You don't want to scare your puppy, so it might have to be a real quiet one, and you want to make sure that your puppy is comfortable with that. When you're thinking about finding the right crate for your dog, you also want to think about the right crate size for your dog. And if it's a puppy, that puppy may grow. Ideally for a puppy, we don't want him to pee or potty in the crate. That's part of the management tools to help with that potty training. So you want it to be big enough where he can lie down, stretch out his legs, stand up, turn around. Not where he can go off into the corner, go potty, and then come back into another corner. So, and not too small where he can't do those movements. You want him to be comfortable enough where he can do that. He can lay down, stretch out, and move around and get all cozy and comfortable. Some crates actually will have a divider that you can make smaller when he's a puppy and expand it when he gets bigger. So that's always an option. Sometimes you're just going to have to buy a small crate and then buy a bigger crate when they get older. Once you've chosen either one crate or a few crates for your puppy, the next thing you want to think about is the location of the crate. For me, my first choice is in your bedroom. So puppies and dogs, they're very much family oriented and they feel much safer and more secure when they're with their family. Potty training is actually going to be better too if you're able to hear your puppy in the middle of the night. So that's my first choice for your puppy, is to have his main crate be in your bedroom. If it can't be in your bedroom, you want to think about the location as a quiet area, but not an area that's scary that he's never been in. So that means your laundry room. Even though the laundry room tends to be a very popular choice for people to put their dog's crate, that usually isn't the best choice. A lot of times those rooms tend to be kind of cold, they might be noisy. Definitely don't leave your puppy in there when the washer and dryer is going. If he's developed any kind of anxiety or fear of the washer and dryer, and then you're trying to make that his crating room, that's going to be a problem. He's going to be scared of the washer and dryer, which is going to scare him of his crate, which may lead to separation anxiety. So maybe more like a quiet den area. That might be a nice option too if you have a home office, because then you can use that crate when you're actually in the office as well. So many people put their dog's crate right next to the window, and then that dog gets excited, he's stimulated, he's barking, he's not sleeping. We want him, again, when he's in his crate, to be sleeping. It's not a time for him to be awake and wondering what he's going to get into. It's a time for him to nap. We want to think about that crating time as his bedtime. Please, not in the scary basement, again, where nobody goes, where it's all dark, where he's isolated. You want him to feel as secure and safe as possible, but we don't want it to be noisy. Now, what you put inside your puppy or dog's crate really depends on your puppy or your dog. So if you have a young puppy or a dog who still likes to chew things, you may want to keep that crate pretty empty. The last thing you want is your puppy to chew something and eat something while you're gone and get it lodged into his throat or into his intestines. So if he's still in that chewing stage and he's not ready to nap when he's in that crate, I might withhold, Again, we want to look at that risk factor. We want to have it as comfortable as possible, but we just don't want him to chew up his bedding. Now, if you're really working hard with your puppy and you're entertaining him throughout the day, you're tiring him out, he's getting lots of adventure, when it's time to go into his crate, he'll be tired and ready to sleep. So that's a good time to start introducing the bedding. And I like to do that best when you're home. When you're home and your dog's had a nice full day and he's just about ready to take that nap, instead of always allowing him to nap in the living room, gently scoop him up, place him in his crate with your bedding of choice, give him a snack for going in, shut the door, and then zen him out. By doing this when you're home, this will allow you to keep that second ear on him so that you can hear if he's getting into trouble or if he's waking up, and then he can learn how to have his bedding without chewing on it. A baby monitor is also very, very helpful, or nowadays we have our smartphones. You can get that second phone or your smart pad and you can set it up so it's pointing at your puppy's crate, and then you can monitor them in the other room. I always recommend your puppy or dog have access to fresh water. I know you might think, oh, puppy training and potties and all that, I don't want them to drink, but we don't want them to be limited on their water intake. The only exception I would recommend is if your vet says no water for 24 hours because we're coming in for blood work or we're going in for surgery. So you want to set the mood for your puppy's zenned out crate area. So the first thing I mentioned is a cozy location, a location that he's comfortable with, that he's been in, and that's quiet. We want to have it warm, but not too incredibly warm where he's panting his little head off, but where he's cozy in it. Not where it's cold and drafty, but where he's nice and cozy and he can snuggle in. You want to think about natural lighting as well. So again, if he's anywhere by a window, you want to make sure that the sun's not going to come in and shine in his face. With Dexter's crate, it's sort of by a window. He's crated when I'm not home, and I shut the curtains, one, so that no stray light's going to get in his eyeballs, and two, so he can't peek out and see any critters and start barking or anything. Remember, I want to keep him quiet, and I want him to ideally sleep when he's in that crate. I do suggest that it's not pitch black in your dog's room, but not bright like a hospital. So kind of that mood lighting. You want it to be calming, but not pitch black and not completely white bright. I'm a huge fan of teaching your dog to go to bed to music. Now, for me, the one CD that I have that I've had since my previous dog is Through a Dog's Ear, Volume 1. And they have lots of volumes right now, but this particular CD was developed for dogs. A pianist and an animal behaviorist figured out the tones and how to put those tones together to slowly calm and bring the heart rate down of a dog. So, I love it. It works really well, and it's a great addition to zenning out your dog's crate. I'm not a fan of having random noise on for your dog, meaning I don't like TVs on and I don't like radio stations on. And the reason I don't like these things is because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how loud it's going to get. I don't know if there's going to be a weird noise that comes on, or a backfire of a car, or kids screaming. I want to help my dog be calm and relaxed. So I don't think that those are really the best choices. Even classical stations, they do have commercials. Who knows what that commercial is going to be? It might be a commercial about a dog boarding facility and they have dogs barking. So again, that might not be the best bet for your dog. The other thing is, if you choose a CD, whether it's the one I suggested or another one, if you use the same CD each time your dog goes into his crate for his nap, including the times that he gets crated when you're home or when you even go to bed, you're going to start conditioning your puppy that when we hear that music, it's a calming time and it's a sleeping time. Think of us being conditioned. When we see a toilet, right now that I just said that, are you like, oh, I gotta go? You know, when we see that, we automatically start to think of the bathroom and needing to go. It's the same thing with our puppies. If we condition them that every time they hear this music, it's going to be calming and relaxing, they're going to already start to kind of mellow out and be easier to be crate trained. So that CD I mentioned, Dexter's 11 now, by the way, I used when Dexter was a puppy all the time. So those times that I put him in his crate when I was home, even at the beginning of his crate training, when he went to bed at night in his crate, when I left him in his crate, that CD was always playing. So what ended up happening is, over the course of his puppyhood, as soon as I started that CD, his eyes would get heavy and he'd walk into his crate and get all cozy and get ready to snooze in for his nap. Because what we're teaching our puppy is that that means to be calm and relaxed and sleepy. What we're teaching them with our crate training is that crate training is good and it's safe and it's calming. It's not stressful. So ideally, again, when we're going to teach our dogs to use their crate is hopefully in short increments versus long increments. So in an ideal situation, you're going to use your puppy's crate throughout the day. Again, think about those napping times. You don't have to scoop him up every single time he takes a nap, but once or twice, if you're there all day, once or twice when he's getting ready to take a nap, go ahead and scoop him up and put him into his crate. Turn on the music, get the lighting right, get that all situated. Because what you're doing is you're teaching him, one, that he can be away from you, and it's not a scary thing, it's not for 12 hours a day, and two, that his crate's a safe place to take a nap. It's no big deal. At the very beginning, if he whimpers and cries a little bit, just ignore him. Don't yell at him. Don't do anything else. This is a great time too, that if you do have those smart devices, to kind of watch, because I don't want the dog to go into a full panic mode. If your dog's going into a full panic mode, you're going to need to address that a little bit differently. That's something that's going to be best addressed with a trainer, to kind of figure out what's going on and how we can calm our puppy down a little more successfully. They're going to probably want to take a bit of a behavioral history to make sure that we're addressing everything. And these tips really are for prevention and teaching a new puppy or a new dog, as long as they don't already have baggage, because that's going to be a little bit different, because then you're dealing with separation anxiety versus teaching a brand new puppy or a brand new dog how to be comfortable in a crate. Once we already have that baggage, it's just different. You might need to add some natural calming aids, some other calming exercises at home, some other training lessons, and build his comfort level of being away or being confined. So when it's time to go to bed at night, obviously with a puppy and even an adult dog, we gotta go potty. It's time to get that potty break out. So you want to make sure that your puppy or your dog's really getting his bladder released, getting any poos out that he might need to do. I'll have a link below about potty training, so that if you're dealing with potty training, you can kind of look at that as well. Once you get everything zenned out and get those lights turned down, go ahead and put your puppy into his crate. If you're willing, go ahead and put that music on. And again, if he whimpers at the beginning, just don't say anything. If you feel that you really need to, you can even reach down and let him sniff your hand while you're laying there sleeping. Sometimes that will comfort them so that they know that they're there with you. But if you really feel the need of doing that, just know that that's going to be one thing that you're going to have to get rid of. So I really try not to do those things if I don't feel like my puppy's in a big panic. For puppies, that bladder is going to be really, really tiny, and it's going to get full really, really fast. So when your puppy's sleeping in the same room with you, you're going to kind of like a baby, you're going to keep that ear open. And if you hear him rustling around maybe 4 hours later, 5 hours later, little bit of whimpering, it's probably time to go potty. So go ahead and get him out and go ahead and go potty, do your potty business outside, and then go ahead and put him back into the crate. It's important that he does go back into the crate so that he doesn't learn a routine of, oh, I go potty and then I get to sleep in the big bed. If you want him to sleep in your big bed, we can do that later, but I really recommend teaching them to use their crates when they're puppies, especially at bedtime, because that's going to be their natural bedtime anyway, and you're there, so that's going to be one of the best ways to teach them how to use their crate and that they're not alone. Typically, a really young puppy under 6 months of age, we might think of every 4 to 6 hours needing to go out. When they're reaching that 8-9 month mark, they might need to get up once during the night, but they're really starting to kind of hold it a little bit more now. Any training tool can be misused, and the same thing goes for a crate. So we can use our crates for a great management tool. It's a great way to keep them safe. It's nice for them to be comfortable in crates. I do recommend crate training all dogs, and I do recommend actually keeping that crate even as an adult and giving them crate time when you leave or another time during the day, because when you travel, if they're comfortable in a crate, that's going to make things a lot easier if you need to leave them in your rental home while you guys go out to dinner, or when they need to stay at the veterinarian's office overnight, or if you board them overnight so that they're comfortable being confined. Because if they're not comfortable being confined, now they're going to be stressed because they're in a new environment and you're not there and they're confined. So if they're at least comfortable being confined, then that anxiety is lifted. And a good rule of thumb is that your puppy or dog should not spend longer in hours than he's months old. So if you have a puppy who's 3 months old, he shouldn't spend more than 3 hours in his crate without being able to get up and go out and go to the bathroom. If he's 5 months old, same thing. 5 months, get out and go to the bathroom. If that means you need to get a pet sitter to come out and let him out, then by all means do that. Because we want to think about that crate as a safe place. We want to help with their potty training, and we want them to know that they're not going to be in that thing for long. For me, 6 hours is my personal max at leaving Dexter or recommending another dog stay in a crate without someone coming to let him out to go potty. I shoot for 4 for Dexter. I'm lucky in the fact that I can kind of manipulate my personal schedule and my clients along with having someone come out to let Dexter out to go potty when needed. We want to remember that they are companion animals. They're not just here for us when it's convenient for us. We brought them into our lives, so we have to make sure that we're being as loving and affectionate and taking care of their emotional and physical needs too. So hopefully you found these tips helpful. If your puppy or dog seems extremely stressed about their crate, please contact a professional to get professional advice at what's going to work best for your dog. In my book, Proactive Puppy Care, you can find information on zenning out your puppy's crate, along with other puppy training and care. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to dive deeper into your dog's behavior, training, and care, check out my Patreon page. The link is below. Until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life. And we'll see you in the next video.
Let me tell you a story about the baddest dog there ever was. Sneaking food from the fridge, tearing up the garbage. He's a goofy old Dexter the dog. He's a bad Dexter the dog. The baddest pup that there ever was.